Is consciousness a miracle, a mere byproduct of the brain, or something far beyond the grasp of science? In this electrifying debate, a skeptical scientist and Sadhguru present opposing worldviews that challenge the very foundation of our understanding. Buckle up as we dive into their perspectives.
Some of you may have heard of Betteridge's law of headlines, which is that in a newspaper or magazine, any headline that begins with a question mark has the answer no. And I think that applies to at least to my opinion of the resolution for today, the question, is consciousness a miracle? No. So we all know what consciousness is. It is our waking awareness. It is the experience that we are all having right at this moment. Is consciousness a miracle? No, and here's why. Consciousness consists of patterns of activity in the brain. We can be a bit more specific, but I won't go into detail, but there's reason to think that it can be specified as rhythmic, synchronized patterns of activity. My compatriot, Dr. Wilder Penfield, a Montreal neurosurgeon, there's a street named after him now, found that during neurosurgery, when the brain was exposed, part of the skull removed, and as we all know, the brain has no pain receptors, so that brain surgery can be done while the patient is conscious. And he found that when he stimulated the cortex with an electrode, he could cause the patient to have a vivid, lifelike experience. They could think that they were at their 8-year-old birthday party, for example. So electricity causes consciousness, not a miracle.
So, if consciousness can be altered by drugs, injuries, or even direct electrical stimulation, does that mean it is just an advanced biological function? Or is there more?
Rather saying a response, I would, as all of you know, same things can be looked from many different directions. First of all, what is a miracle? If you put filth in the soil, it becomes a miracle. If you put a piece of bread into this becomes a complex human body. This is a miracle. This is one way of looking at it. Calling something miraculous essentially means we appreciate the magic of life. Well, our parents gave us, very stingy people, they gave us only one cell each. Hello? They could have given us 1,000,000 and made life easy, but they gave us only one, and here we are sitting talking all this. This is a miracle. Well, we can always talk about how cells multiplied, what happened, this. But you can't do this in a drum. You can't put this in a barrel and do this. So this is a miraculous process that it's happening. So one way of looking at it is you can explain everything about life. Another way is just everything in life is magical and miraculous.
While science sees consciousness as an emergent property of the brain, Sadhguru presents a broader, more holistic view. But can we measure consciousness beyond neural activity?
Conscious experience has a corresponding brain signature, and through functional magnetic resonance imaging and machine learning, we're getting closer and closer to being able to read out someone's consciousness from their pattern of brain activity. Again, not a miracle. It's patterns of electromagnetic signatures from blood flow. All of these are physical entities and picked up by a very strong magnet, another physical entity, and we can see what the person is thinking. Finally, we know that when the physiological activity of the brain ceases, that is, the person dies, their consciousness goes out of existence. Now, how do we know that? Well, of course, you can't know it for sure, and many of the world's religions promise people that their consciousness will survive the death of the brain.
Human mind, this brain-centric approach, we don't look at it that way. We see as there is a physical body, there is a mental body. When I say a mental body, every cell in your body has enormous memory, far more memory than your brain can ever hold, because this remembers how your forefathers were 1,000,000 years ago. It's not forgotten a thing, even the skin texture, it's not forgotten to that extent. So every cell in the body carries enormous memory, and the kind of functions that it is doing is unbelievable. So, it has intelligence and it has memory. Essentially, in human understanding, what we call as mind is a certain combination of memory and intelligence, so that is spread right across the system. Whether human beings have learned to use that or no, because this whole thing about in the today's modern education process, we are made to believe only thought is intelligence. No, our thought is rudimentary because it's only functioning from the little data that we have collected. The data that I have collected, how much ever I have collected, it is still minuscule in this cosmos.
So, is consciousness a miracle in the sense of an unexplainable mystery, or simply a deeply complex natural process we have yet to fully understand?
Enigma, conundrum, and it leads to late-night dorm room conversations like, how do I know that the red that you're seeing when you see red is the same as the red that I see when I'm seeing red? And how do I know that you're not a zombie, that you're not actually… you might have circuitry that duplicates intelligent behavior, but for all I know, there's no one home, that you're just a robot. How do you know that I'm not a zombie? There are many conundra like these, conundrums, where our mind just doesn't feel satisfied that something like neural activity could give rise to that which we feel from the inside. On the other hand, I'm a cognitive psychologist. I'm interested in how the mind works, and I know that there are a lot of things that we have trouble wrapping our mind around. That doesn't mean they're miracles. What happened before the Big Bang? Well, physicists will tell us that's probably not the right question because time came into existence with the Big Bang. But still, I can't help but thinking of this itty-bitty little speck just sort of sitting there for many, many years, and then suddenly it explodes. Now, that's not… physicists will tell us that's not actually what happens. You've got to stop thinking of it that way, but I can't help thinking about it that way. I've got the brain that I have. Likewise, there are many other facts that I know are true, but that I have trouble appreciating. Again, it doesn't mean they're miracles, but people are tempted to think that they're miracles. In the case of the Big Bang, it was, first there was God, he went Shazam, the whole universe came into existence.
What is logical? How I see logic is the most fundamental aspect of our intelligence. If you don't have a firm sense of logic, you will be all over the place. But logic is the foundation. We make a strong foundation for this building, not to live in the foundation. Of course, in America they call this basement, in India we call it a dungeon. So we don't live in the foundation, we make a strong foundation because we want to build something else on it. So in this sense, whatever comes out of this earth is quite miraculous. How a worm-like caterpillar becomes a butterfly, just about anything. Look at it from human wonder, there is a miraculous process to it. We can explain some physical aspect of how it happens, but what intelligence makes this happen, it is quite miraculous, there's no question about it. About consciousness, I think… I don't know how it is seen, Steve, you must understand. One thing is, I've strived hard to remain uneducated and also strived very hard to remain uncivilized. Why this is so is because most of the striving in people's lives is to become educated, to become civilized. In my experience, how I see this is, anything accumulated diminishes your perception. Both your education and civilization is an accumulated process. Once you accumulate these things and identify with those things, your ability to see life as is becomes seriously impaired. To be able to look at life just the way it is, then this word consciousness, I think there is a little bit of… probably the way I'm looking at it is very different. If we're talking about a human being conscious right now, that all of you are conscious in that sense, that is, yes, you're conscious. Only Bala can throw you off by using his magic of anesthetics. That is conscious, human beings being conscious. Of course, if you're not conscious, there's nothing here for you.
What do you think? Is consciousness just the firing of neurons or something much grander? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more mind-expanding debates.